Hello and welcome to the new episode of the Leadership Accelerator podcast. Today I'm in Pune and I'm joined by a very distinguished guest. He is a leader and a motivator himself. He also has an independent YouTube channel which has about 1 lakh subscribers. He is the group CEO of the Brahma Corp Limited, and I am delighted and privileged to have him on the show today. Welcome to the show, sir.
Sir, I am really honored and privileged to be in your company, and it is my pleasure, sincere pleasure.
So you have, I've been kind of researching your background or going through the internet. You had around close to four decades of experience.
Yeah, cumulatively, yes.
Yeah. So if you could kind of share your journey with our audience, that would be a great privilege.
To start with, I'll tell you, I took birth. On birth, you don't have any control where you take birth.
Bilkul.
So I call it ovarian lottery or birth lottery. So wherever do you take birth? Incidentally, it was a purely UP village. No electricity, no running water.
Oh, wow.
And somehow my father thought of that our kids should go for education. And that's how we were 4 siblings. So 2 brothers, 2 sisters. And he insisted on all of us getting good education. Brother became a lawyer, tax consultant. And me, after graduation, I joined Indian Air Force. Very remarkable career there. So for around 2 decades, I was there in legal and administrative departments of the Air Force. And around 2007, to be frank, first gens around 2007, I moved from there to corporate. And since around 18 years, I am there with this group. Here also, I started as a company secretary because that is my basic qualification. And with the passage of the time, as things came to me, basic thing was that whatever comes to you, when you deal with everything, everything is transformative. And in fact, you learn something out of it and you become better person and everything transforms you. And with this journey of 18 years from company secretary to group CEO, that has been the thing. One thing in the entire journey which I have learned is this: give the best you have.
Correct.
Don't compromise what you get in return. Whatever best you have. Your service is like a gift to humanity. And your gift, shipment of the gift and delivery of the gift. And ultimately, don't hold back anything. And don't think you will get in something, then only you will deliver it. No, then you are compromising with yourself. एक पेड़ होता है ना, पेड़ भी अपनी ग्रोथ को नहीं रोकता. वो नहीं सोचता कि यार मैं कितना बड़ा होऊंगा, मैं किसको छाया दूंगा, नहीं दूंगा. ठीक है, आप अपना काम करें. कुदरत आपको रिवार्ड करेगी. जब आप अपना बेस्ट देते हैं तो कुदरत आपको इन रिटर्न अपना बेहतरीन देती है. फॉर व्यूअर्स आई टेल यू व्हाई नॉट द बेस्ट. जिमी कार्टर थे, उनका एक स्लोगन हुआ. तो जब वो आर्म फोर्सेस में थे तो एक इंटरव्यू प्रोसेस में उनसे जब प्रमोशंस होते हैं, हमेशा इंटरव्यू का पैनल होता है. तो जिमी कार्टर को एक ऐसा एरोगेंस से प्राइड था कि मैं बहुत कुछ किया ज़िंदगी में. एंड while in the interview, one of the interviewer panel asked him, was it your best? Even though you were second ranking, third ranking or first ranking, but was it your best? In fact, when it took, totally he was blown up कि ये effectively, sometimes एक जो questions आते हैं हमारी ज़िंदगी में, one question can transform the way you think, the way we look at the things. And he made a election slogan for that: why not the best? Why not the best for the US? Why not the best for the society? Why not the best for relationship? Everywhere we can imbibe, implement, execute this part. Why not the best? So wherever you are, in whatever capacity you are, wherever we are, in fact we keep cribbing we are not getting.
Correct.
But we don't look inward, are we giving our best? And especially the youth who are more succumb to pleasure, I'll just request everyone of youth around that just analyze, evaluate, are you giving your best, the best? And things will fall in place. Things will fall in place. So be rare and valuable, be your best, the best. And I think don't expect anything in return. Universe will reward you at appropriate time.
Awesome. So, sir, in this 18 years, as I understand, your journey with Brahma Corp has been really transformational. And
Yeah.
I've read about the kind of growth that the organization has had under your leadership.
Yeah.
So, in your journey, has there been some transformative situations like you talked about? And what has kind of been your inspiration and what is driving you towards this?
I'll tell you, as an organization, when I took over, the main focus on my part was cultural shift. Whether we can feel, work, and execute as a team or not. Most of the organization I had seen, most of the places I have seen, people create subgroups. And subgroups, when they are created, they start working at cross functions of the organization gets damaged in the return. So my main focus has been there, be sincere and let everyone know around that if someone is not performing, it is not question that most of the time what happens, leaders or managers don't let them know that you are not performing. Just hide ourselves behind the door, behind the bush, and we take convenient steps. So my thing has been there, if someone is not performing, someone is not meeting requirement, let that person know well in time, repeatedly well in time, and whatever you can do within your limits to improve that. Sometimes what happens, we expect our people to perform, but without realizing, are we enabling them? Are we enabling them with the right resources? Are we enabling them with the right manpower or right type of environment which is supposed to be there? Sometimes we don't take onus on ourselves, we just ask our team to perform. And that is the worst thing any leader can do. Be enabler, then only you can expect your team to perform.
Sir, you said and you mentioned two or three very important things that I really resonate with what you said. But उसमें से मैं एक important aspect को choose करूँगा, वो है culture.
Yeah.
You mentioned culture. And I think that is something that really drives any organization. और वो बहुत important हो जाता है. But I've seen a lot of leaders not really focused on this concept of building a culture or influencing a culture.
Yeah.
In your case, what are those values जो आप hold करते हैं, dear, जो आप culture को drive करते हैं?
I think something which I carry, being from a village background, I think I am more attached to the earth. मतलब ज़मीन से जब जुड़े रहते हो ना, आदमी हवा में उड़ता नहीं है. ज़मीन से जुड़ा हुआ इंसान ना, उसको मतलब सही गलत का फैसला करने में आसानी होती है. दूसरी चीज़ क्या होता है, माई कोर इज़ द डिफेंस. सो एथिकल, अनएथिकल, मोरल, इमोरल, टीम, ये हमारे ब्लड में आई थिंक इनकलकेट होते हैं.
बराबर है.
सो टीम का जो कंसेप्ट है, कम्युनल लिविंग का जो कंसेप्ट है, कि लाइक आई लाइक टू विजिट मोस्ट ऑफ माई एम्प्लॉयज़ प्लेस. व्हेन यू गो, the employee doesn't come himself or herself alone. If someone is facing some problem, I'll ask you, okay, how your kid is doing, उसका admission हो गया कि नहीं हो गया, some medical issues are there. So you need to travel beyond a person who comes to work. A person who comes to work is supported by his entire family or entire, because even there are people who are sacrificing.
Correct.
So when you start focusing beyond what is your workplace, because a person comes as a alive human being, the moment you start seeing person as that, I think you realize their needs. You are able to foster closer bonds with them, and I think that's how the culture created, that's how the team created, that's how the relationships are created. So everything, without good relations, you can't have good teams, and they need to have unflinching trust and faith in you. That's why.
So, sir, you mentioned about being grounded, and I believe that's one of the most important trait for a leader. You also mentioned that you meet up, you go and meet the people in your team. One of the important aspects I would love to hear from you. How do you balance the authority of the CEO against getting kind of the personal touch and being grounded? As a leader, you need to balance both of
Yeah,
that.
I'll tell you, first of all, whatever capacity you are leader, be authentic you. So the brand which is built unconsciously, consciously, I don't know, that when it comes to work, I'll go to any extent to meet the work requirement. But when it comes to your personal needs, I'll go to any extent to meet it. So when people try, basic thing is that okay, when I ask you or ask my team to work, it means they need to trust that whatever is being told to you, it needs to be done. But at the same time, whenever there is need, I'll stand for them. So when you try to balance in these ways, and when प्रॉब्लम लोगों को काम का नहीं होता, प्रॉब्लम होता है कि वो हमारी लीडरशिप में ट्रस्ट करते हैं कि नहीं।
बिल्कुल।
और बिना ट्रस्ट के ना क्या होता है कि अब देखें घर में बच्चे होते हैं छोटे छोटे, वो कोई डेंजर कोई किसी का क्वेश्चन नहीं लेते बिकॉज दोनों पेरेंट्स आर देयर, इवन दो इट मे साउंड लिटिल आउटडेटेड पैटर्नलिस्टिक लीडरशिप, but somehow you, even if you don't use the word, you can have that sense in place that you are not there, what do you say, they are not under your under control, they are under your care.
Correct.
So when you convert your control to care, I think any paradigm shift happens there.
Absolutely.
When you feel from within, right from heart, okay, there are people with lives, but at the same time, you can't be so much that organizations requirements are not met. So a tough balance, critical balance, but when it comes, you need to balance it. But you can't go one way. Okay, you are too generous or you are too tough. So that's how the right mix you need to.
You would typically advocate a situational leadership kind of a style.
I'll say that if people are able to gauge everything properly, gauge in the sense कि आपको प्लानिंग पहले से करनी पड़ती है, सो देर आर लेस नी जर्क वाली जो सिचुएशन होती है, दैट शुड बी लेस एंड लेस. इफ यू आर एबल टू foresee, if you are able to visualize,
correct,
you can make your team ready in time. And if you fail as a leader, every time there will be knee jerk. Knee jerk can be once or twice, it can't be every time. So every time when it becomes, it means I am failing as a leader. So once you start failing as a leader, you can't shift your blame to your team.
correct.
So forcing in advance, then I always say CEOs should be chief enabling officers. Enable your team well in time, and I think things fall in place.
Okay. So sir, you mentioned the word brand.
Yeah.
ठीक है, तो एक ब्रांड हो गया फ्रॉम अ कस्टमर पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू,
Yeah.
बट फ्रॉम अ एम्प्लॉई पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू, जो एम्प्लॉयर ब्रांड बोलते हैं, कि हाउ डू यू अट्रैक्ट, सो एनी चैलेंज फॉर एनी लीडर व्हेन दे आर प्रोबेबली ग्रोइंग is how to attract the right kind of people, the right kind of teams. And how what have you done with Brahma Corp, where people are really kind of wanting to work with a company like yours?
फर्स्ट थिंग क्या होता है कि जैसे जैसे ऑर्गेनाइजेशन ग्रो होता है, पीपल नीड्स एंड ऑर्गेनाइजेशन नीड्स दे कीप शिफ्टिंग फ्रॉम टाइम टू टाइम. सपोज some 10 years back, X type of employees were fit for the organization. Now, when you are elevating the game, you need to elevate your team structure also.
Absolutely.
And what happens, everything starts from your basic hiring process and screening process. And when it comes to top, what values you are trying to inculcate, with what values you want your people to come in. So for me, thing has been that whoever comes, whether a person, it is not only resume what is written, it is just आज के टाइम में AI में आप डाल दो, and most of the employees don't know what is written in the resume. First 2 lines they don't know what is written.
Correct.
So 90% they copy it. Yesterday only I was interviewing some person. So the main thing which I want to see behind a person, what is person capable of extending his or her limit or stretching his or her limits beyond a particular set which he or she has described for himself or herself. जब आप क्या करते हैं कि अगर उस बॉक्स में ही आप रहने के आदी हैं, तो जब भी आपको डिफिकल्ट टाइम्स आएंगे, चैलेंजिंग टाइम्स आएंगे, यू विल सरेंडर टू द सिचुएशन.
बिल्कुल.
सेकंड है कि आपने जो पास्ट में आपके अंदर डिफिकल्ट टास्क हैंडल करने की क्षमता है, सिचुएशन है, इवन नहीं किया है तो आपके पास एप्टीट्यूड है, एटीट्यूड है कि नहीं. सो एंड with what mindset you are carrying, whether you want to grow in life or not. If you have decided not to grow, means you can't do anything for that person.
बिल्कुल.
Jokingly, with due respect, I use the term dead on arrival. When a person goes to hospital, even doctors can't do anything. So I'll advise every leader, be very careful of such type of people. Means they have decided they will not do anything beyond this. So be very careful of such type of hiring. But at the same time, hire people, those are genuine. Don't go for fancy resumes. See their past performance, see their past commitment. And even loyalty के बारे में ऐसा नहीं कि 10 साल काम किया तो then only person can be loyal to you. I use the term performing loyalty. If a person is with you for decades and not performing, then it is useless.
Correct.
So it has to be right mix of loyalty. We appreciate loyalty. We give loyalty bonus also in our increments.
Okay.
But at the same time, the loyalty has to be performing one. It can't be just a dead body there in the organization. You need to, over a period, take care of it. Either by enabling the existing employees or somehow letting them know that organization needs have grown. Either you have to grow or you need to find some alternate. So right mix of taking people, and sometimes I'll admit, most of the time leaders feel insecure of taking too much talented people. They feel मेरा क्या होगा?
हाँ, insecurity आ जाती है.
Insecurity होती है. And if you can deal with that insecurity, because I always say, आपको knowledge सभी की knowledge हो सकती है, but आपका काम करने का तरीका आपकी USP होती है.
बिल्कुल.
ठीक है.
That's what I was about to.
You can learn taxation, you can learn accounts, you can learn anything, but you can't learn the way you do the things. And the way you do the things, I think that makes you, outstanding in the market. But at the same time, if you feel you are not able to contribute anymore, you don't deserve to win the organization. So by just clinging on,
Correct.
you can't continue. So in fact, some reasonable insecurity होना बहुत जरूरी होता है, सबके लिए जरूरी होता है. Even in relationships also, when you start taking people for granted, you stop giving your time to them.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल.
So in relationship, in employment, very reasonable amount of insecurity. पर बहुत ज़्यादा insecurity है, then person is not able to perform. Reasonable amount that you are being evaluated, you are being monitored, your performance being monitored, everything is being monitored, and you are responsible, accountable for whatever you do, actions, inactions, whatever. Sometimes inactions also you are responsible for. Outcomes. I use the term of radical responsibility and extreme ownership.
Okay.
So whatever is there, you are purely responsible. होता है क्या कि हम अपने एक्शंस इनएक्शंस को दूसरे के ऊपर दुनिया को बुरा बोलते रहते हैं. बट एम आई कंट्रीब्यूटिंग फैक्टर इनटू दिस. लीगल में हम पढ़ते हैं कंट्रीब्यूटरी नेग्लिजेंस. टॉर्ट में एक आता चैप्टर. तो एम आई कंट्रीब्यूटिंग टू इट?
करेक्ट.
If I am responsible, at least that portion I should be responsible, I should take care of. So whenever client comes or whenever any employee comes, कोशिश हमारी यही रहती है कि for this situation, how much I am responsible, how much my team is responsible, how much I have contributed to this. Then the way you look at it, the things entirely changes. So start taking your own responsibilities. whether you call it radical responsibility, extreme ownership, extreme responsibility, but be accountable for whatever actions, inactions, outcome you do in life.